So good afternoon, Purcellville. Welcome to the official launch and ribbon cutting event of Purcellville Portal, a digital platform amplifying the town's economic recovery efforts by helping the town and the community buy local online. I'm Paula Santana. I'm the founder and CEO of Glass, and I'm going to be your host for today. And in case you don't know what Glass is, we are a Silicon Valley-based software company pioneering high-performing governments with technology. Our platforms are very simple to use, and we basically enable compliant and paperless transactions for procurement teams and local communities. And we've helped over dozens of governments do transactions and acquire over 4.5 million items from verified small vendors in record times. You can read more about our work in Bloomberg News and in Business Insider, and check more about our vision and the type of work we do with the United States and other governments in Latin America. So our agenda for today includes discussing this initiative with the Town of Purcellville's mayor, Kwesi Fraser. We also have here today town manager David McCarsky, and we're going to be talking with local vendors like Scott Kinney from Shamrock Music Shop. And towards the end, we will have the opportunity to do a brief Q&A, and we will also share more information about training events and some technical support that we will be providing to Purcellville vendors. We would like to thank all the attendees for joining this event today, including, of course, the Town of Purcellville staffers that have done a lot of background work for us to show you this portal today. Everything that looks like magic in tech requires a lot of work. So and on behalf of my team, I express our gratitude to the whole town management, especially to Diana as well, that I know is here, to all the local vendors that have supported the initiative initially, even knowing very little about how it really works and how it benefits them, to the community, to the friends, the family, the press, and of course to the Glass team that has done an amazing job to pull this off. Up next, I would like to discuss with the mayor this initiative and the platform that we're launching today. So Mayor, welcome to your own Purcellville Portal, digital portal. It's been very interesting for us to understand that Purcellville, even though very small, is an award-winning town of over 10,000 residents that has received very numerous prestigious awards, like the Siemens Sustainability Awards for small communities. That is also a leader on green initiatives. That is ranked, it was ranked as one of the safest cities in Virginia in 2020, and that constitutes what we call the economic hub for Western Loudoun County. So with all these things under Purcellville's belt, we have two key questions. One, what are the key advantages of launching something like this portal now? Because timing is important when you are a pioneer. And what's the vision for this initiative in Purcellville?
Yeah, thank you again, Paula, and thank you for all of those in attendance. The real value proposition of this initiative is as we move from a state of recovery to economic expansion, coming from what we all face nationwide and in Purcellville with the pandemic of last year, we see this initiative as giving the impetus to our local businesses. So even if their doors are closed, they're still able to market and sell their product. So we see this initiative as bringing digitization, or I want to say like an Amazon-like experience to the local community. So our local vendors and companies will be able to now extend their reach to the online and virtual world.
Thank you so much for that, Mayor. So whenever you start something new in the town, what is the key pillar so you can continue building and you go into the digital world, but you still maintain that sense of, community and of this very interesting culture that you have in Purcellville of caring about the people, caring about the community, caring about the businesses, letting people get to know these businesses and this community without rushing into, this era where it stops being a small town with its charm. How do you balance that out between, the future and keeping the authenticity of Purcellville?
Yeah, so it starts with a solid value statement, or what we call our mission statement. So Purcellville, you're a small town where history intersects with progress and the people prosper. So starting fundamentally on that statement, it may seem simple, but if we continue to say we will retain the historic character and charm of Purcellville, but we understand we need to make allowance for the town to progress. And some of this allowance is introducing a product like this, bringing our local businesses online, but we still retain the charm and character. We still intend to see folks come to Purcellville to shop and do the antiquing, but now, hey, let them do it via a mobile phone, but still go into our store, shop and eat. But now you have another sales channel to enable our businesses to progress. So again, history and charm intersecting with progress, and the people prosper.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for those words. So now that we understand a little bit better what the vision is for this initiative, we're ready to show Purcellville what this platform is about. Images are simpler to convey what a program of this magnitude is, and to do our virtual ribbon cutting. So with that, we're gonna show you something. So that's a brief video showcasing to government staffers and the community and other businesses how to literally shop local with the same convenience that we have to buy from the big box chains or the big online retailers, but we can do that locally. And for us to be able to do that locally, we need to make it super simple so it's attractive, so it's convenient. So buying local and doing good is not just difficult, it just makes total sense. And for that, we are not necessarily doing a big thing. What we're doing is showcasing what the vendors that are local in Purcellville have, but we have to digitize a lot of that, and we need to provide them with support on how to receive digital orders, how to receive digital payments, how to submit quotes to government staffers that are requesting prices and that want to understand product prices, compare them, and have supporting documentation in order to keep all the town purchases compliant. So there are some other capabilities that as you start using the portal, you will see, like price match request. It's one of our strongest capabilities. We also have the quote comparison. So government staffers can request quotes from local vendors and receive those quotes electronically, and they can compare it one next to the other, so they can make the best decision based on, I need this faster, I need this cheapest, or I need this and I'm going to optimize to allocate this transaction to a women-owned or to some sort of minority if Purcellville has any socioeconomic goals that you want to push. We also have capability to put restricted items, and this goes more into town management. Like if we know by code or by law that there are certain types of categories or items that we cannot buy or we don't want to buy, then those restricted items get embedded into the system. And when people is searching for that, at least government staffers, they receive a notification like, based on code, we cannot buy these items. So it's start digitizing some of the things that our amazing people and government staffers need to know by heart or need to get very intense training on how to do them. So up next, we're gonna check some of the key advantages for the other side of this platform and the heart of the platform, that is really the local vendors. So having shown the functionalities for both sides, the government buyers, the residents, the community, the businesses to buy from other businesses that are local, and the capability that vendors, local vendors have to digitalize their current catalog, connect any website that they already have, or even connect their inventory through our API if they already have some sort of digital store. Those capabilities, what they allow is to simplify how they found each other. And this is not trivial. So we have over 400 million small businesses in the world today that are the backbone of our country's economy, that are creating the source of jobs in each one of our communities, that are the ones where innovation is being created and that provide up to 40% of our GDPs, and they need to reactivate locally. And the way we're doing that is by providing them tools. So one big line of business that they had never received before, that was most of our government purchases that are not done online, now they can seamlessly connect with the level of compliance that procurement purchases are needed, but the level of convenience that local online purchasing can have. And that's the power we're granting every small business, every mom and pop shop. They can have a fully compliant online store with a couple of clicks, and of course, with the technical support of our team that knows that this is not easy. We don't want to make it sound trivial. This is a great initiative and it requires work so we can get to the other side of digital transformation. So with that, we're going to continue with our program. And I would like to invite Purcellville Town Manager David McCarskey to the conversation. David, thank you so much for being here. Thank you also for the hard work that you've led and your team as well to make this platform happen. And we have two key questions for you. Number one, how do you envision that the Purcellville Portal can help reactivate the local economy? And number two, what could be the impact of the portal in the town?
Okay, well, thank you. Paulo, it's my pleasure to be here today. It's my pleasure to work with your entire team. It's been a good experience. You've been very, very responsive. And we're excited about having this opportunity to launch it to our local business. First and foremost, I would venture to say that even though we have over 300 businesses in Purcellville, many of our own citizens have probably not opened each and every door. And what's really exciting to this is not only will it help our own government employees when they go through a procurement process to get 3 quotes on various items of purchase, whether it be office supplies, whether it be automotive goods for our essentially our fleet. They'll be able to shop local and get 3 quotes, and it will help expedite the research process for our staff. You know, some people say, well, why use the local Purcellville portal? Why not just use one of the big portals like Amazon? Well, our 300 businesses are lost on essentially a portal like Amazon. So whether it be our employees or our citizens or employees, not employees, but citizens beyond our boundaries, when you go to the Purcellville portal, you are tapping in to the 360 businesses that make our local economy. And as you all know, as you're going through this process, some of our businesses still are not on e-commerce and they do not even have their own webpage. This is a good mechanism, essentially, to bring every single business to the 21st century of e-commerce and giving a showcase for their products and services. And the second question, Paulo, was what?
The impact that you see. So yeah, now we're powering our 300 businesses with this powerful tool so they can do more business locally in Purcellville and other visitors can find these businesses that are based in Purcellville. What's the impact that you envision if we manage to do this right with a lot of hard work and training and whatnot? What is a desirable future for the impact that this program can have in Purcellville?
Well, from looking at it in terms of local government, we're essentially a $24 million corporation. And we provide a wide array of services to both businesses and our residents. One of the goals that the town council has, and my administration is trying to implement, is make sure that that tax burden of service delivery is not on the backs of our residents, but is shared with essentially the businesses and the industries and that make our local economy. And so this portal essentially will help our local businesses grow stronger. The more purchases that are made on this portal, it helps our local businesses, means essentially the more multiplier effect we will have for every dollar spent in Purcellville. That dollar circulates in the local economy, and it has a multiple of sometimes 3, 4, sometimes even 10 times the dollar amount spent just through the circulation within the local economy. But from that government standpoint of trying to manage a corporation of $24 million, every time a purchase is made on this portal that may have not been purchased prior, our sales tax revenue is going to go up. And ultimately, a local community is dependent on property tax and then secondary other revenues such as meals tax and sales tax. And the more, the stronger our local economy becomes, the stronger our local businesses come, the less burden our residences will have to face for the delivery of services. It will be shared more equitably across all parties.
Thank you so much, David, for providing that insight into town operations. We believe that part of the power is literally not adding one more platform or one more thing to do to people in the town. It's actually just strategically directing some of the things that they already do, and some of that money that is already spent to be spent not just more strategically, because it strategically sounds theoretical, is to spend it with intention. Like, these are the businesses that we support, these are the businesses that we help register, these are the businesses and the families that we serve, and these are some of the businesses that we give our business to. So thank you so much for that comprehensive view of what the town expects this program provides for everyone in Purcellville. So speaking of vendors, I'd like to invite Scott Kinney, that is the owner of Shamrock Music Shop, to join the conversation. Scott is one of 11 businesses that have started the process of going digital with our support. We have onboarded around 600 local products in the last 2 weeks in the health and medical categories, in the personal care category, automotive, and miscellaneous. And we are looking forward continuing adding categories. So when people come to this portal, the portal is populated with the products and services that are being shopped locally. So we will provide some more insights towards the end on what to do if you don't find the product or service that you want, because digitizing all the local businesses is gonna take effort and time. And we are working hand by hand with many of these businesses so everyone can find them online. So Scott, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. How are you?
Can you see me?
We cannot see you yet.
Okay, well, you don't need to see me. I don't know what I need to do for you to see me, but I can see you and I can hear you. Okay,
well, no worries. You can maybe activate your camera, but if you cannot manage on the bottom left to see the video button, then we can just talk this way. Thank you so much for all your effort.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Sorry, see, I'm a little technology challenged.
No, we understand. And actually, this is the highlight of this launch today because many vendors have a lot of questions, are skeptical, they don't understand, they don't believe, and that's great because if they tell us what the question is, what the challenge is, we can tackle it. What we cannot help is if we don't know what is the barrier. So I want to have a very frank conversation with you from a vendor's point of view. We have three key questions, and please answer them as frank and as bold as you can, because that gives everyone an insight of what other 700 registered businesses in Purcellville might be facing. So the first question for you, no pressure, is, going digital usually takes initial work, especially for a small business with very little staff. What made you decide that you wanted to start checking if you wanted to onboard your business with us in the portal, in the Purcellville portal, and that could be a good move for you and for your business?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank a lot of people for doing this and for initiating this. I moved to Purcellville 12 years ago. And the day that I arrived in Purcellville with my family, there was a symposium at the Carver Center in town. And it was all about how does government and business and community work together. And at that time, Greg Wagner, who was a council member, described that as a three-legged stool. And for things to stay in balance, all three need to work together equally so that you have a platform that is in balance. That really stayed with me. And then a year later, which has been 11 and a half years now, I started Shamrock Music Shop in town because I really love the small town feel here, but it's kind of like small town on steroids. People love the folksy charm, but yes, the businesses are very cutting edge. Some are global. My business has enjoyed a really strong lessons program here in town, and shopping foot traffic in town. But we've also, especially because of the pandemic, really emphasized our digital platform on some of the music platforms such as Reverb, which is where people go. And we've shipped all over the world. We've shipped to Russia, Finland, Japan. It's kind of cool to be able to get your guitars in a local youngster's hands or somebody across the world. So I think the main thing with anything is it takes a little bit of awareness and a lot of repetition. It's important to me because I have a business here and I live here, that the storefronts are not vacant. And we have seen a big change, a big shift with the pandemic where our lessons had to go virtual, which they did, and they've done so successfully, as well as our digital products, which are online through several different platforms and now through this platform. But I have seen in some cases, consumer behavior has changed permanently, where when we come back with our lessons in studio, it's not going to be 100% of what it used to be. There are people who just feel better about doing lessons from home, especially if they have young children or elderly in the household. I understand that. And so our digital platform for lessons has been very important. And I do believe that people who have become accustomed to buying from their home, by going on Amazon or Googling something, these businesses kind of become verbs. In the copier business, it became you Xerox something, even if your copier was a Canon machine. So I think the appeal of this to get the average consumer who's seeing this new product to care to go on it, to even given a chance, is to emphasize the so what does it mean to me? And I think it means a lot to our community that they don't want to see storefronts go empty. They do want to shop in town and support their local friends and neighbors. I think that's where it starts, because there are so many different things. And I remember for years, my wife used to buy from Amazon when they were first starting out and taking losses every year. And she thought this was the greatest thing in the world. Well, now look what they are, So people just go on Amazon to buy their stuff. Well, I think if there's enough emphasis locally here on this product and what it's really doing for you, is keeping the dollars in town. I'm happy to write that tax check every year. The bigger it is means the bigger our sales are, right? But that's because I understand the importance personally and as a business owner in town that the money does need to stay in town or else it goes somewhere else, and somewhere else doesn't help any of us. So I also wanted to thank the town. We just completed Celebrate Purcellville, which was a week-long event. And that certainly creates the message that the town cares about the citizens, the local businesses. And I'd love to see this be a continuation of that.
Thank you, Scott. So it seems that because of you were able to adjust during COVID, you had to adjust. Many people would say that you didn't have a choice. You do have a choice. Many people just closed during COVID because of the nature of their business, or they just didn't have the opportunity to go digital. So it seems that for you, this might be like an easier step than for someone that hasn't gone digital at all. So what I would like to understand is that first time you did go digital, it was heavy, but you felt you had to do it. So has it been worth it to go digital? Even if you're a small shop, I know you're seeing the results based on you saying that you do some of the classes virtually and that you ship everywhere around the world, but please give an insight of how important it has been for you to go digital, for people to find you, how critical and important that is.
Absolutely critical. And the week I was flying back from visiting my son on the West Coast, the week that everything shut down, I got together with my lessons director, Jessica Gibson. Jessica used to be in the Army in operations, and she's really good at crisis management. And so Jessica and I made the decision with the input of our teachers that now is the time we must go virtual for everybody to be safe. And we went into the pandemic with 220 students. And I'd say maybe we lost about 20 students, some that just felt that the online experience couldn't possibly be as valuable as the in-studio experience. And I want to say tenacity, being tenacious about it was huge, because to those that said, well, I don't think it's going to work. So we'll tell you what, can you give it a chance? Because I think the quality of our teachers and the bonds that they've built with their students, we found out through the pandemic that, you know what, our students really depended on seeing their teacher once a week and that they could look forward to that. So we were tenacious about that. You know, if we had to, maybe we'd give a free lesson to just try it. So I was bracing for something a lot worse than that. I thought we might lose half of our students, but we have a student who's elderly who moved to Africa. And even though it's early in the morning for the lesson, he still takes his lesson. So I think that was important. I also wanted to give a shout out to David, the town manager. They had a grant program for businesses that had lost a certain amount of revenue. And at first glance, I thought, well, we hadn't really lost that amount of revenue. You know, we've pivoted. You know, we've gained in online sales where we might have lost in foot traffic sales. But he was tenacious. And we took a closer look at our books, and we saw that we did qualify actually for this grant, which did not hurt. And I really was appreciative that he challenged me to take a closer look at the books and see if there was a dip somewhere in there that we would qualify for this grant. We did. So thank you, David, for that. And that I think is really my pleasure. Yeah. And so that partly because of that, we were able to help David out with his PA rental for his wedding. See how that works?
That's absolutely true. My wedding would not be my wedding if it wasn't for Scott and his sound system. And I bet you a lot of folks in the community doesn't realize that he has that product available at a very reasonable price. And so it was the hit of the day was the sound system from Scott. Thank you, Scott.
Well,
thank
now
you.
we're
That's
gonna make sure. Now we're gonna make sure everybody knows where to go to rent the system and the installation service with a special discount that Scott is gonna give everyone that he can advertise directly on the Purcellville portal. Scott, we're running out of time.
Yes.
I have one last question for you. What are the benefits that you're interested in seeing out of this effort and initiative? You know, it's taken a bit for you to provide some of the inventory that you currently have. Our team is working with you very closely, but you are a leader. You take action. You don't give up. So you already have it in your blood. But as you mentioned, some of your students drop out. So we know that some people is still, they don't want to change things. And it's okay. They don't have, we're not asking everybody in the town to come and jump into this platform if this doesn't make sense for them. We're trying to have a conversation. It's not a sell. We're trying to educate people. We're not trying to convince you of something that doesn't make sense for your business. And it's important that everybody understands their business, but that they're also open to understand new ways of doing business. So for you, what are the benefits that you are interested in seeing? So these all make sense for you. You're like, you know, the effort was amazing. 1 year from now, you're like, my sales have gone up and actually, you know, I'm doing this and this and that I wasn't doing before. And that's thanks to this platform that the town of Purcellville is enabling together with Glass.
Right. The obvious answer is sure, we would like to see our sales go up and stay healthy in all areas, retail, lessons, etc. I think everybody would answer the same, that they're hoping to see more revenue or more new customer opportunity going through this product than going to Leesburg or going online to Amazon something. And again, I think it really comes back to selling the community on using it in the first place. So I think the success of the launch is how successfully the word gets out that, hey, this is a legitimate program that our small businesses are participating in. And if you prefer to shop from home, that's great. Just make sure you're going to this product to give it a chance. And I think the way I've seen word get out successfully about different things in the community is something in our water bill that we receive in the mail, something to promote that, just like we would promote a town festival. People really do read that stuff. They really would read a nice standalone postcard that is selling the why. Why should I care, right? Because if you value your local business community, that you'll go to this easy to use platform to help support your local businesses and keep them running so that they're there for you when you need them. I think that's and of course on social media, that goes without saying, but I think it's the big kind of selling, the emotional sell of here's this free service to help your local community use it so that your local businesses are still here for you. And I think once you get people to at least buy in enough to, hey, I'm going to check it out, I'm going to give it a chance, that from what I see, it looks very appealing and useful, and you create the repetition of coming back to it again and again.
Thank you so much, Scott. David, please go ahead.
Yes, and Paula, I just want to mention as a follow-up to what Scott just mentioned, this as a way of actually capturing tourism dollars and stimulating the tourist industry and helping our businesses grow. There's probably about 20 wineries within a 10-mile radius of Purcellville. We have folks from the entire DC metropolitan area and Virginia and Maryland coming to those wineries. And inevitably, if they're going to stop at a winery and they make that 55-minute trip or an hour-and-a-half trip, whatever it is, they want to scan the communities that surround those wineries. And when you go onto this portal and you see the unique musical instruments that Scott is selling, or you seeing the eclectic products that's inside its bazaar, you're going to say, hey, let's make a stop to Purcellville while we're out there and do a little shopping on some unique businesses that no one in the region has. So it really does open a window, not only to our own citizens that may have not stopped in those shops, but just to hundreds of thousands of folks that come through this area. Do you know over 2 million bikers, runners, and boarders are on the WOD trail a year? 2 million. And it either starts or terminates in Purcellville. And so if you can capture some of that 2 million people that pass through here, either starting or ending, and they stop right across the street, from the train station at Scott's Place, or It's Bazaar down the street, or Nichols, then we accomplish some great things.
Thank you so much, David. We loved hearing from you and some other folks about, the whole, this economy that is happening, that is not so obvious, but it's there, because we have so many people going around that route. So we are excited to see, not if we can capture, but how much can we capture, because we know that's already happening. So thank you, Major Fraser, David, Scott, thank you for being able to be put on the spot and tell us what you think about this initiative, knowing that the heart of it is vendors coming locally and digitally. And if we can work together to make a program that makes sense for small vendors in Purcellville to be incentivized to come to this platform that is very powerful, but only displays the power if it's used. If we start there, I think we're gonna have an amazing conversation in a year, where today we were having a little bit of faith, hoping that this was something new that would yield results. And what we would like to give you in a year is a powerful dashboard full of your data, because data is great when things are working. If things are not working, we almost don't want to see it. But that's what technology does. It allows you to fix things little by little because you understand what's not working. And that's what we are bringing to the table. We want to finish with a couple of announcements. We want to open it up for any Q&A from the town staffers that are here. We see some people from the staff. If there are any questions, or from the community or from other vendors, I forgot to mention that to all local vendors in Purcellville, there is a vendor program that we have put in place where we provide 24/7 technical support and technical assistance. We help you upload your products. We help you connect your existing website. We help you gather the data that you have. If you have literally a physical catalog, send us an image of it, picture, and we help you create that first local online store. You don't need to do anything else. That's all you need to do. And if you go to the Purcellville website, that we're going to be, to the Purcellville Portal website, we're going to be adding that link into our chat. You can start seeing where that vendor program is, and you can read it out. And if you have questions, our team is available for you to answer those questions. So are there any questions? Yes, Major. So I think we don't have any questions. We had an initial question from some of the vendors that were connecting with us and trying to tell us, to explain more how was this working from the government side. So we had a question about how often were they gonna start hearing from government staffers when they needed to do orders. So this is an open question I put on David. We know the town has their procurement processes, and how could this complement that procurement processes so some of the local vendors can start learning what the town is purchasing and if they have the capability of sending quotes?
It's a very good question. And, obviously there are certain procurement procedures that we have to go through for large purchases, sealed bids, request for proposal process, or invitation to bid. And this portal would not address those. But For local government, we still spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on smaller purchases, from office supplies to security equipment, to things that maintain our connectivity to the citizens, IT purchases. And so first and foremost, all department heads can utilize this to get their 3 quotes for purchases below $10,000. And we can try to direct those government purchases towards our local economy, helping us with what I was stressing before, the economic multiplier effect. Every dollar spent in the community multiplies in that community and helps everybody grow, but also helps generate sales tax revenue. And again, if you're bringing a tourist in, because they now know what's inside Scott's shop and It's Bazaar and Nichols, then we're also probably going to capture them for a meal. And meals tax is the second largest revenue base next to property tax. So there's a synergy that's going on, and it all starts with getting our local residents, the residents beyond our 3.2 mile boundary and the greater metropolitan area, just what is available in Purcellville. And I think they're going to discover what the mayor was saying, small town charm with all kinds of unique, eclectic shops and items that you can't find anywhere in the region.
Thank you so much, David. So with that, we're going to invite the mayor for closing remarks and to do the ceremonial ribbon cutting. He has an actual physical ribbon, and let's do that now.
Yeah, well, thank you once again, Paula. Thank you, David. Thank you, Scott. There is a saying that the prosperity of a community is measured by how long it takes a dollar to leave that community. With this portal, you've enabled it to be difficult for a dollar to leave Purcellville, and we thank you for that. And we see this portal, it's basically the evolution of what we have. Today, we have a static business directory on our website. What you have done is taken that business directory and made it dynamic. So now customers, we know that Purcellville has some of the best products, like Scott indicated, and this portal enables us to now market and then create sustainable relationship and meaningful relationship that will lead to purchase. So with all of that said, I embrace this. I know we spoke about this about 4 months ago. Thank you for your stick-to-itiveness to continue to bring it before us. And finally, we are at this point of opening this portal officially. So with that said, I'll now cut the ribbon. And we're hoping for business, folks.
Thank you so much, Mayor Fraser. Thank you for your leadership as well. So we want to finish this great launch event sharing some announcements. Number one, we are hiring 2 local positions on site in Purcellville. We are hiring someone that can be our face to explain the initiative, to actually help vendors, not on the phone, not on the email. We know we need more face-to-face now that we're going back to normal, and we're hiring someone. We're going to be sharing the positions in the chat. If you know young people that are eager to contribute to the community, that want to get into an opportunity to help them grow, to develop their skills, we want to talk to these young people. We are interviewing very actively now. And the second position we're hiring is someone that can take care of same day, same hour local delivery. So one service that we're providing to all the vendors is that they cannot just receive an order and capture a digital payment, but if someone wants to have something delivered locally, there's no way to do it. You cannot do it with USPS. Same day, maybe in the morning, very early. You cannot do it at an affordable cost, and probably you need to get a third-party service like DoorDash or something along those lines, but it's local. So it makes total sense that if you order something from Scott and you order it at 9 a.m., maybe you can get it at 10 because it's 2 blocks away. So we are hiring this local person, and that's just a testament that this local infrastructure doesn't exist. The local infrastructure doesn't exist. If you want to send something to the town right now, how do you send it? Probably you need to go. So this is part of the dots we're connecting, and we're hiring these 2 positions on site right now. Number 2, what's going to come after this? We started onboarding products because products are easier to onboard, and we want to start giving a good experience to product providers so we can then move into services. So from today and on, we're going to start working with the services providers, people that need to provide a couple of quotes or talk with the customer before they can give a final price. We have a special flow for those type of transactions, and we're going to start working on that from today with a lot of different vendors. Number 3, we're going to start doing training webinars. It's not a class. You don't need to come knowing the homework. There's no homework. We're going to advertise these webinars on the Facebook Purcellville page, so you know when these webinars are happening. And basically, they are going to be webinars for small vendors with all the basic questions. How do I do this? How do I upload? What if I want to get a special certification? I'm not hearing from anybody. Nobody's buying from me. Am I doing something wrong? I need a new logo. Everything goes. We're going to start doing these webinars once a month. And we really want you to come in. If you know a vendor, if you have a friend in a small business that doesn't want to come digital, that has been postponing creating their first website, if you see, Scott, if you see the vision of businesses, of people that you know that still don't have the capabilities that you have, refer them to us. We want to hold them by the hand and walk with them until they have their first local online store. So that's a very specific call to action to vendors. You know, you are a small town, you're a great community. Let's help everyone, especially people that is not there because they don't have the capability or they haven't seen the future. And then lastly, we provide technical support. We are trying to make complex stuff simple. So there are no dumb questions. If there's something that doesn't make sense, ask us. If you don't like something, tell us. Our job with this type of work is not to have all the answers, but to make sure we go with you to find them. We were talking to one of the businesses that is local, that basically has a thrift shop and has a lot of different items. And they were concerned that with so many items, they don't have time to take pictures of all of this. And we understand. So the question is, number 1, are other stores like yours going digital? The answer is yes. Number 2, how are they doing it? There are several examples. The third question is, what am I going to gain from it? And then we can go and find those examples. Do we start onboarding 100,000 products? No, we start with 10 and we see what happens. So it's with the trial and error that we're going to get a result. It's not by having the perfect plan without trying that we're going to get the result. So those are our call to actions for all of you, for buyers, for government staffers, for the community. Please come to the Purcellville Portal. Search in the search bar. You won't find many products because we barely have 600. When you don't find something, you have a call to action to talk and chat with us on the live chat that is on the Purcellville Portal on the bottom right. You can text there and say whatever you're trying to find locally, and within 10 minutes, someone from the team will connect you to a local vendor. That's how fast we can help you find stuff. So it's gonna take probably a little bit more than ordering on Amazon today, but hopefully in 3 months, with everybody asking questions and onboarding products, we're gonna have a similar experience, but locally, with the people that are your friends and the families and the kids that go together to school. Now we're really buying locally from the people that we hang out with. So that's very important. You can text us on the live chat. You can send us an email, and you can call us on the phone on a hotline that we have that is available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. EST. Those are our last announcements. I want to thank everybody for being here, all the Town of Purcellville team for putting this effort. The Major for the leadership, David for the leadership, Scott for saying yes. And I want to also thank the Glass team that is here and that has made this possible as well. So with that, we close this event and we welcome you to the Purcellville Portal. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.